Hey guys, it's me. I haven't really done anything like this before. This is like my first take at this, but I essentially wanted to do a commentary on my new album, Everything All Together. I haven't done this for any of my other records. I've always wanted to, and I've always had a lot to say about them, but I thought, I wanted to put these thoughts down somewhere instead of keeping them in my head, I guess. Whether or not anyone ever listens to this, it's kind of like a journal, I guess. Just to kind of break down my thought process with every song and, stuff like that. Without, I guess, getting too into the story, because, yeah, I want to talk about, narrative stuff. I want to talk about production stuff and sonic evolutions of certain songs, stuff like that. Cool stories, I guess, connected to each song, This isn't like a stems breakdown or like a sessions breakdown for any of the songs, but maybe I'll do that too. Not sure. This is just a commentary. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna just get into it. So with this, I'm sorry if I pause or ramble or not make sense. I'm just kind of gonna talk. Just let my mind wander about this record. So, coming off of Pages, I didn't really know what I wanted to do for my next body of work. I never really know what comes next, it kind of just starts with some songs that I like, and I go from there, But, the first song that I made for this album that kind of kickstarted everything was Going Away, Fluent in Memory. It's actually the first song I made for it, which was in the summer of when I released Pages, actually. So, and I feel like this is it was a perfect song to begin with, because it is, in my opinion, like the perfect sound bite, of the entire album. It really does kind of summarize, sonically at least, the types of songs, or just the sonic kind of idea of the record was summarized in this one song. Nothing is really that formulaic all the time. It's kind of funky. It changes whenever it wants to. Those kinds of ideas. So I always thought this song was the perfect, I guess the one that I'd begin, drop first. It always just made sense to me. But I want to go in order, obviously. But that was just the beginning, and I guess from there I kind of decided I wanted to make a concept album. I hadn't really made like my past 3 bodies of work, they all kind of have themes and concepts, I guess, within them. But I never really made a record that was telling a extremely cohesive story from start to finish. I kind of just tied them together one way or another. This time I fully decided to go for a story that I wanted to tell. Obviously inspired by Quedeca. Quedeca is all over this album. Not that he produced on it, but his influence, because I'm heavily inspired by him. He's one of my favorite artists, maybe my favorite of all time. But yeah, big inspiration for me. His work on concept albums, especially Haunt You. Didn't Mean to Haunt You. That album is kind of the inspiration for this. It's not anywhere nearly as good as that, but that's kind of the feeling that I felt coming off of that album. I wanted to just make something that not mimicked that feeling, but kind of, in the same way that it affected me, I wanted to make a body of work that was effective. Like something impactful. That just made you kind of feel something after listening to it. That was my main kind of goal with this album. That became my goal once I like thought of the story. But yeah, I made Going Away Fluent in Many. That song, for me, it wasn't related to the story of the album when I first made it. It was just a personal song. That was about like, I was moving away at the time. I was moving out for the first time, which was a very scary, anxiety-filled experience. And it was about somebody I was falling in love with at that time, who's still in my life now, that I love very dearly. So it was kind of like a half and half on both of those ideas. Anyways, we'll get to that song. We'll get to it. I'm kind of starting in the middle here. Everything. Let's go from Everything, which is the first song. So, with this song, it was a very interesting writing process. I've never made a song before in the style that I've made this one. Sorry if I cough. Kind of getting over a sickness at the moment, but yeah. This record was created very differently than I've ever made other albums, because I moved out for university, so my music studio was at home. So whenever I'd come home for like the weekends was the only kind of chance I'd have to physically work on it. But a lot of the writing and ideas I thought of were like thought at my university or when I was in my dorm, stuff like that, you know. And this is one of those examples. Everything was originally like a poem that I made that was about infidelity, and it was about cheating on somebody. Like it was about cheating on somebody. Not to say that I was ever actually cheating on someone. I just want to get that out of the way. I didn't cheat on anyone, but I wanted to, it was more of like a writing exercise, I guess. I just kind of let my fingers type, and I made this poem. And it's bar for bar, like exactly what you guys hear in the song. Like that was a poem. I just kind of made it in my notes, and that was that. And it really kind of, there was like some ideas and lines in that poem that really kind of stood out to me. And something about it just felt so, it was just devastating. You know, it was a very devastating thing to read, and it was heartbreaking. It was like it was drenched with like guilt and, you know, stuff like that. It's just like the feeling of being unloved or not being able to communicate that you feel unloved, and then trying to look for that love in other places, you know. That's kind of the idea of that poem. And that's kind of when I got the idea to make it a song, like actually make it a song. And I've never made a song before that started with the lyrics first, like all of the lyrics first. So this was the first time I had to make a piece of music based off of the words. Because almost every time it's the music first and then the words, you know, or simultaneously, this at the same time. It's almost never the words first, but this was the one time that changed. So yeah, I kind of jotted down what I wanted the song to sound like, because I couldn't start producing it. I had brought my laptop with me to university. It didn't have all my music stuff on it. I kind of had FL and some other things on it, but all my kind of tools, plugins and stuff, I wasn't like successfully able to like transfer everything. So I didn't have all the tools to just make it on my laptop, you know? So I really just did have to wait until I got home. But I later found out that it'd be impractical to make this album that way, so I did end up getting a lot of the music stuff on my laptop, and a good chunk of this album was actually made on my laptop, surprisingly. But we'll get into that later. But yeah, I went home and it was cool because I already knew what the song sounded like in my head. I just had to make it. Um, so yeah, I think I was very inspired by uh, Igor by Tyler the Creator. Igor's theme, and more specifically, that's always been like one of the most entrancing intro songs I've ever heard to any album. Because like the way it's just a, it's that kind of like saw lead kind of sound, and it's just violent. It's just kind of, and it stays. He sticks it out for like a while until the drums kind of kick in. That's always been like a very like eccentric start to an album, and I always wanted to. I like that idea a lot of like it starting with one sound, kind of stretched out. So that's, it's probably not. You'd probably never guess that that's what inspired this intro, but that beginning lead that you guys hear and everything after like the initial intro portion, that's kind of where it came from. I put the lead down and just started singing that poem over it. I added those electric piano chords on it, and sorry, I should have probably recorded this one so I was better, but whatever. Yeah, I added those elements on it, and Tell Me a Joke by Koidaka was also inspired when I was making this sonically, like the instrumental section of it. I wanted to just make a very dark and sad, sorrowful, guilt-driven song about cheating. Like that was the main kind of goal. I wasn't trying to connect this to an album. I wasn't trying to do anything like that. Just trying to make that a song initially. But once I had finished everything, like this first song, I realized like I'm not gonna lie, nearing like the end of me making the song, like the entire story of the album just spawned in my head. I don't know how else to explain it. Like everything just kind of boom, 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 boom in my head. And the story was there. I'm like, oh my God, I know what I want to make. Like it just came to me, you know? So when I was finishing up this song at the end, like where there's like the violin orchestral kind of section where it like distorts out the very end of the song, I added the deep voice guy. So for those of you who don't know who the deep voice guy is, the deep voice guy is this character, like this omniscient being that's on all of my albums. And he's only in the first track. It's just like he only comes in the first track, and he talks in reverse, pitch down, and he just spews something related to the album. I don't know, it's just this weird ritual that I have, which is kind of inspired by the 1975, which is my favorite artist of all time. Like maybe just in front of Koidaka. They have this bit where they like have the 1975 be the intro track on every single one of their records, the title. And for 3 other records, it was like the same song, just redone. And I loved that idea, and I wanted to do something in the vein of that with Yanali. So it's not nearly as cool, but there's just this deep voice dude that like shows up and says some bullshit. But yeah, so I'm like, how do I insert that guy into this? And that's the space that I found for him. I've never like revealed what he actually says, because I think that it's really easy to figure out. I know no one really cares enough to like go in and like reverse what I'm saying and figure it out, but it's just a cool Easter egg that maybe somebody can look at one day. Anyways, so I did that, and I knew that this was the first song of this album. And I think that's also when I got the idea for the title, Everything All Together. And I knew that when I said that the entire album came to me, that means like everything. Like I knew the beginning, middle, end. I knew everything would be the first song, all would be like in the middle, together would be the last song. It all just came to me. As for like where the title of the album spawned from, I'm not very sure. I'm not really sure. I know it was definitely inspired by this movie, this Oscar award-winning movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once. It has a very similar title. It was like a movie I watched around the time I was making this, and I don't know, that title, like the movie itself, like I thought was okay, like I thought it was cool, but the title really, I don't know, there was something about the title that felt very all-encompassing, and it just felt, I don't know, it itched some part of my brain the right way, and I wanted to make my album called Everything All Together. Because I guess on one hand I was thinking I wanted to make a record that had all the types of music that I liked together. And then I also wanted to make an album about tragedy and like how everything spirals downward. So like everything coming down all together, like everything falling apart together. You know, there's a lot of ways you can interpret the title, but it just made sense that that's what I wanted to name the record. Anyways. And then we go into Don't Lie. Don't Lie is an interesting part of this album. It came before everything. I wrote the song before everything. It was just a banger that I had, which was just about rizzing somebody up. That's literally what the song was about initially. Like, it was, when I just made it without the context of the record, it was just about, you know, hey, you're looking good. Or like, hey, what's good? You're looking good, yeah. Say, you give me just a chance, yeah. You know, just like, it was just a really silly Riz song. And that's really it, to be honest. Initially, I really want to make a stems video so I can show you guys this, but the drum pattern on Don't Lie was originally for like another song, like another beat that I had made with like a guitar, and it was like this whole other R&B kind of thing. And I didn't really like rock with it. I just felt like it wasn't very me, wasn't really Yanali sounding. So in place of that, I put in this more plug, new jazz, whatever you want to call it, I guess, like summers, autumns. I was also listening to, gosh, what is that song? It was that Eric DOA song, Kickstand. I was listening to a lot of Kickstand around that time. So I wanted to make, you know, that kind of sound. I'd always made a lot of plug. I like to call it plug, but I guess it's your own preference. But I always enjoyed making plug music, not for albums, but just as like fun songs. Like I have a bunch of plug songs in like a vault folder somewhere that will probably never see the light of day, but they're just so fun. And I thought this was like a good opportunity, like, I guess like self-prod one, you know, like I wanted to really produce a plug song, see how it'd go. So yeah, I took out that guitar or whatever, I made this beat or instrumental or whatever, and it just came together very fluidly. It was a very fun song to make, I'd say. I wish I could show you guys like the voice memos. I would record like bits and pieces that I'd want to add. Like there's like a lead synth that comes in when the claps start going crazy. It's like and then the keys that go down down, like those ideas would run through my head and I just voice memo them and then add them in, you know, like stuff like that. But yeah, this song was literally just a 2-minute song about rizzing someone up. And once I created the first song, Everything, I was like, okay, after this song, I need like a very exciting, you know, like a very exciting upbeat song that comes next on the album. Because that's just what made sense to me. It's like a very slow, sad start with everything, and then I need like a big, energetic booster. So I just queued up Don't Lie right after it. And like the initial kind of transition didn't exist at the time, but I put it in. And once I listened to everything and then Don't Lie like together, oh, I got so hyped. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was like, this is kind of fucked up. Like, pardon my French, but it clicked in my mind what this song served. What the song served as in the context of the album. Because it's like such a sad song about cheating and being regretful of your like actions to this person and everything, and then Don't Lie is about rizzing someone up like a stranger. So I was like, oh my god, this is horrible, super toxic. But it's like the story just kind of started writing itself. I was like, okay, I guess the character is now being ignorant and going out and openly just doing this, being unloyal. So I was like, yeah, that is staying. I like made up my mind. I'm like, I like where this is going. So that's kind of how Don't Lie came together. It was nothing very that complicated with this song. Even production wise, it was pretty straightforward. I like that there's 808. There's an 808 in the song, but the drums, there's actually like a live snare. It's not like a trap snare. I like that idea. It's like a blend of a bunch of different sounds. I love this kind of music. I love plug music. And since it was self-prod, I was like, I can finally put it on a record because, I'm all about self-producing everything now. So, yeah, I really like this song. I like that it gets very kind of hype at the end and the shakers come in and the panning. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else could have inspired this song. I think it's just that. Yeah. But yeah, after Don't Lie, we have Foreshadow. Now, with Foreshadow, interesting thing about this song is that it's a very old song, actually. This is actually a song that I've had since like before Pages, I'd say. Maybe. Is that right? Yeah, like I'd say by the end of Unfamiliarity to starting to make Pages, I had this song. Like it existed. Like not the final version that you guys have heard, but pretty much like the entire song was there. This song had like a million different versions. It was so difficult to get right, but the initial structure and the idea of it existed a long time ago, and I just never knew where to put it. Like I really liked it. It was very hype, but it didn't belong on any of my other projects. I guess it could have fit on Longing, but I didn't make it until that album came out. So, and the next album I was making was Pages, which was a very, very kind of not trap-driven album at all. So, again, this song didn't fit on that. But this record kind of gave it its context. I was like, it could work here because it's about being ignorant. It's about being toxic and kind of like a horrible person. So I was like, yeah, this kind of ties in. So I brought it out of retirement, brought it out of a folder, and I cooked up on it. I really like the song. It's very hype. It's very like, it's kind of hip-hop rap-ish. I kind of have a go at rapping in it, or like a faster flow, which I was just experimenting, messing around. I always had a interest, I guess, in like rapping. I was never good at it, but when I first started to make music like 5-6 years ago, it started with like really trash rap music. So like I always liked rap, like I guess not rap music, but like rapping. Well, I was never really good at it, and I transitioned into like singing and stuff, and eventually producing later on. But yeah, I kind of wanted to go back to that and try just having a faster flow, doing something else, doing something different, not having a chorus, just having some verses and a hook. The formula for this song is kind of all over the place, but that's what I love about it. Around this time, I was listening to Gabriel by Keshi. Keshi dropped his debut album, and he had a song on that record called Get It. I think it's called Get It, right? Get It. Yeah, it's called Get It. And it was kind of like a divisive song for the fan base, but I fucked with it heavy. Like, it was like hype as hell. It was kind of distorted. It was kind of grimy. Just very hype, And he had these pitch down vocals. And the energy of that song was just so like damn, like this goes hard, you know what I mean? So it kind of came from that, I guess. The sonic inspiration behind it. It had that ukulele loop. It had the ukulele loop on it. Why do I keep saying it like that? Ukulele loop. And I made that beat over the top of it. It was a very fun song to produce, to be honest. Very hype. And I have my voice pitched down going like, hey, hey, hey. I'm just saying hey over and over again, which became a part of the beat. It was very nice. And later on, once I kind of figured out how to like manipulate my voice into sounding like a horn instrument, like a trumpet, I also added that over the top of it. But yeah, this song, I also kind of introduced industrial drums on it, which I kind of put in everything as well. But I always knew industrial kind of sounds. I wanted it to be a theme on this album. Like, I love those drum loops. There's this one dude on Looperman who makes these insane industrial kind of experimental avant-garde loops. They're like really weird. But if you like manipulate them and chop them up correctly and kind of, I guess, bend them at your own will, like, you can get a lot of cool shapes. So that's just what I did. Like, there's a whole industrial section breakdown in this song, and it's just weird. It's just weird as fuck, but I love it. Like, it's just really good. And this song took theoretically like it pretty much took like 3 years to get right, but super worth it. I'm really happy with how it came out. And narratively, we're just slipping further into this really bad lifestyle that the character's going down. At the beginning of this song, there's like a monologue that's said by my friend that I met in university. Shout out to my friend Jonathan. It was a pretty funny moment, actually. I was in my dorm just kind of writing, and I called him. I was like, yo, Jonathan, dude, can you come down to my dorm? Like, I have a favor to ask of you. And then he's like, dude, that's funny you say that, because I also have a favor I need to ask for you. And I was like, oh shit, okay, say less, come down. And when he came down and we both explained, I explained like, I'm making this song and I wrote this little monologue and I needed like a voice to say it, and I thought your voice would be perfect. And he like agreed to do it right away. And then his favor was also like music related, funnily enough. So it kind of worked out. It was funny. But yeah, he had like a couple goes at saying it. He kind of rewrote it so it flowed better for him, and then yeah, we put it down, and yeah, that monologue is pretty interesting. It's kind of not super clear in the album, but let me see if I can read it for you guys right now. It might be on my notes here. Let me just find it for you guys. Typically, when things start going wrong and it's because of our own actions, I guess we tend to find something to blame instead of taking accountability. We choose this destructive We choose this destructive and unhealthy mindset that changes who we are for a while. It's scary. It's kind of like a foreshadow to when things actually do go wrong. So yeah, I'd written that, and I was like, just say this, and then the song will start. And that's exactly what he did, and it's awesome. And yeah, that monologue kind of solidifies the fact that, like, whatever the character is doing, like, he knows that it's wrong. He knows that he's in the wrong, but he's not ready to, like, admit it, and he's just kind of instead doubling down on his horrible life. And yeah, that's like all that's happening in this song. But yeah, I love that song. Very hype, very fun. And then we have Catalyst, which is surprisingly, like, my friend really liked the song. You guys probably know him as Spooter. Big guy, big name. I always run my music by him, but he was really impressed with this song. So I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, this interlude was an afterthought, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, this album was originally 11 tracks long with no Catalyst, and it just went straight into Going Away. But I listened to this thing over like 1,000 times, you know? And whenever I listened to it over, I just felt like the transition between these two moments was too abrupt. Because the story was starting to write itself, and I realized that Going Away, Fluent in Many, would be from the perspective of the girl, you know? Because if you guys see the teaser that I dropped for Going Away, I wrote an introduction to her story on it. So this is like, narratively, the song kind of became a song from the perspective of the girl in the story. And it's about her moving away from her boyfriend, yada, yada, yada. I don't really want to explain the story because I like that it's kind of, it's all there already. So it's better if you listen to the album, I guess. But I'm assuming you guys have heard it. Or I don't know what I'm assuming. I'm assuming I look up some big-ass artist where, like, people will actually listen to this. But anyways, yeah. Catalyst was, I knew that I wanted to make an interlude that transitioned into Going Away fluidly. Yeah, that's all that I wanted to make. But I wanted it to be meaningful, you know. I didn't want it to be like ass and like just be like, ugh, like that could have done without, you know. So I really did try to make it good. But this was the first song, maybe not the first, but one of the few that was made entirely on my laptop. So this was second year at this point. I couldn't work on this album a lot when I came back from first year. That summer was actually very lore heavy for me, which inspired a lot of this album actually that summer. Very dark times, but yeah, I ended up getting a lot of music stuff on my laptop, and Catalyst was entirely produced on my laptop. So yeah. And it was made very fast. Like, I was afraid that this song was kind of underproduced, actually, for the record. Because it was, you know, I had that guitar loop. And it's like this decline. But yeah, it was very fun to make this song. Again, a lot of industrial ideas on it. Big saw lead on it. Reminiscent to, again, Igor's theme. I just kind of sonically try to like make it fit in with the theme that the album was kind of in already. There's like a sound of like a plane and the air hostess talking, which is kind of, you know, the signifier that she's taking off, like she's moving out, you know, she's moving away. This is what I mean. Like, this album has a story in it, but the meaning that Going Away, Fluent in Many holds for the album is entirely different than the meaning it holds for me on a personal level. So although it's like a fictional story, it still is a very personal body of work. But yeah, I digress. Sorry. So yeah, Catalyst was just supposed to be that. I really like this interlude. I knew it always needed to be like a minute and 25 seconds long. Like, I didn't want it to be any longer than that. I wanted it to just transition smoothly in. And yeah, it just kind of made sense. It made it less abrupt. And chronologically, the song is actually the first song, like, in the story. So if, like, the album should actually begin with Catalyst and then Going Away and then everything. But I just didn't want to start it like that because I wanted the everything all together, like beginning, middle, end effect. So I kind of had to do some non-linear storytelling here and put everything first, and then Catalyst is titled Catalyst because it's like the spark, it's like the beginning. It's like the event that kicked everything off. So it's like a flashback, you know? So chronologically, this is the first thing that happens in the story, and it's from the girl's perspective. So yeah, I guess we can combine Going Away as well. I kind of already talked about this song, but yeah, at this point I knew what this song had to do with the story. Unlike when I first wrote it, it was just a song about me moving out. But at this point I knew, like, yeah, this is what's going on. I love this song. There's a little monologue in this song when the piano comes in. It's not a part of the lyrics, but I wrote it out on the teaser, and it's not related to the story of the album at all, but it's about how I'd never lose the passion for music. There's a cool little detail I just thought I'd mention, but yeah, this song is pretty much me flexing my knack for production. Not to say that I'm even good at producing, but I just wanted to make something that felt free, like a song that felt like it had wings and it wasn't afraid of changing, that had like a metamorphosis to it. It just kind of became like, this song is like 3 different songs in my opinion. Like, it's originally like a orchestral acoustic ballad that then goes into this Kanye-esque kind of trap jazz song, and then it goes into this alternative drum, like grunge almost. I don't even know. It's just a very interesting song, and I love this song. It's like one of my favorite songs I've ever made in my life, probably. For a while, it was my favorite song I ever made, actually. But yeah, this is that. Yeah, I love this song, and yeah, we've already talked about it quite a bit, but yeah, I always and this is also the first song where I experimented with my voice trumpet. It's pretty funny. Like, me and my girlfriend, we often joke about this a lot, where she really finds it funny that I can make this trumpet sound with my mouth. I'll see if I can do it for you guys right now. God, that was horrible. It's not that good because people are sleeping right now, so I don't want to wake anyone. It's like 4 a.m., but yeah, you guys get the idea. I basically I freestyled this trumpet solo, and I manipulated my voice, added a bunch of like shit to it, and it kind of sounds like a trumpet now, or like a saxophone, something like that, like a horn instrument. I took a long time to like experiment, mess around with until it felt right. But yeah, I needed to make a song that had that. But you guys will see later on, like, there's a song that straight up just uses it a lot. But yeah, I just want to mention that also makes an appearance in this song. After that, we have Take Me Back Alive. So, with this song, a lot of things going on in this song. I'll start off with what inspired it. Obviously, I gotta give credit where it's due, because I'm not that creative. It's really my other music that I like that creates my music. But yeah, I was inspired by the Japanese house. She dropped an amazing record. Oh my god, what was it called? I'm forgetting the name of the record, but it was an amazing album. Gosh, I'm forgetting the name, but she had a song on it called Sad to Breathe. I love Sad to Breathe. It's such an amazing song. I always love the idea that it starts with like this piano ballad. It kind of sounds like it's going to be an acoustic song, and then out of nowhere it goes into this pop song. Like I always loved that idea. So I always knew I wanted to like make that. Like I always wanted to incorporate that in a song, you know? So I kind of took this song to be that opportunity. It's Not Living If It's Not With You, 1975. Love them. Love that song. Always have loved that song. That song is very obviously in here. The kind of, if you guys see the breakdown for that song, there's a harpsichord lead that's kind of driving the rhythm of that song, and it sounds like blah 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 blah. That's like a part of It's Not Living If It's Not With You. I straight up ripped it out of that song and put it into this. I think I like copied it exactly, like exactly the same notes and everything. Not notes, like the song's in a different key, obviously. I think this is in D major. I'm not sure. But yeah, I took that melody, I guess, out and put it on a piano and put it on to this album. Or this song, sorry. So yeah, that song also inspired the song a lot. And what else? Yeah, I think that's all for the inspirations. If I remember something, I'll say it. But yeah, this is another song that was actually, like the demo for it was created on my laptop. I kind of made that loop with the guitar. The original guitar on this song is like 178 BPM, something crazy like that. But I had brought it down to like 123. I duplicated it, pitched it up, stuff like that, made it like a pad. And I had this fun little pop jam. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I love that song. Or like, I love that demo. Played it over and over again. And I even came up with the dun dun beanie, but I'm back alive. Like, I had that shape. And I just couldn't wait to get home during my university period just to like make the song. It was similar to everything in the sense that like the song existed in my head. I just needed to go home and make it, you know. So yeah, I created the instrumental. Not a lot going on instrumentally. There's a fun little guitar solo near the end there, but yeah, I love this song. It's a very fun, easy to listen to pop song. I love music like this. Like I just love pop music as a genre. Like I don't like all kinds of pop music, but I love this kind of like upbeat pop music. Very kind of, yeah, like it's just good vibes, you know, sugary, summery, just, yeah, really good vibes. I also love the lyrics on this song. The lyrics are like hilarious. Like it's kind of unserious. I guess like the character at this point is kind of realizing their mistakes and they're trying to play it off as a joke. It's kind of immature, to be honest, but yeah, like lyrically, I love this song. I love the I walked in the shop, talked about my case to the girl counting up my change. Like I love the storytelling. I love my friends are telling me like she's kind of cute, like all these ideas. I just had a lot of fun writing this song. There's even some background vocals done by my brother, my older brother, on this song in some portions. But yeah, I loved getting that chorus. It's super catchy, and the end where I'm just kind of yelling, "Take me back alive, take me back, take me back." The whole sing-along, it's a lot of fun. It's just, I had a lot of fun making this. And it's just a non-stop kind of surge of energy. It doesn't have a bridge, it doesn't have anything like that. It's just, I just love the energy and the groove of it so much. I just wrote it out the whole way, you know. But yeah, this song has that piano intro. Oh, another song that inspired this Take Me Back is Easier by Quadeca, which is off of his Scrapyard record. I really want to make sure I name everyone that inspired me so it doesn't feel like I'm stealing. But yeah, Easier is like one of my favorite songs. And it has this super pretty string intro. So that I wanted to make that sort of intro for this song. And then the Sad to Breathe was like the piano ambient thing, and then It's Not Living If It's Not With You was like the more upbeat part. So it's like a combination of those three ideas, and it became Take Me Back Alive, which is a favorite among a lot of my loved ones. Like my friends and stuff really like this song. So yeah. Next we have All. This is where things get a little twisted. So as I said in the beginning, this album, aside from like the story and the concept, it was also kind of about making a record that had all of my favorite types of music in it. Because if you like notice so far, like it's had plug, it's had rap, it's had some weird experimental parts, it's had ambient, it's had pop so far. I was like, what else do I even like to listen to? And it's R&B, like some good old R&B, lo-fi music. So that came in the face of All. Came in the face, gosh, pause. That, yeah, it's, you know what I mean? Like this song was my opportunity to explore that. Again, another demo that was originally made on my laptop. But on my laptop, all that I made was like the drum pattern and like the guitar solo, like a very rough version of it. The rest of it was produced on my PC. It's also important to note that like half of this record was produced on my old PC, and then that PC like kind of broke down, and then the other half, or not other, like the last quarter was made on my new PC. So this album's been through some like shit. A lot of changes. Excuse me. But yeah, this song is inspired by like After the Party, which is an amazing artist that my girlfriend put me on. And he's basically just this, he makes this very nice, spacious R&B, lo-fi kind of music. And he has it's just really good, chill, study music, to be honest. He recently dropped a record called Woods. Really good record. But he has a record called Resonance and question mark, exclamation mark. I don't know how to say it, but I think that's how you call it. But those two kind of albums inspired the sound for this album, or this song, I'd say. And oh my god, what else? There's another song. I'm forgetting what it's called. Let me see if I have it written down. I think I wrote it down. I'm not sure I have it written down anymore. But, like Future has a song with The Weeknd on his deluxe called, what was it called? You promised that I got your back. I'm forgetting the name, but you guys know that song has a super cool guitar at the back of it. I knew I just wanted a good old fire-ass guitar solo that's shredded, like just an R&B. I kind of wanted to just make like sensual R&B music that could be like in the back of, like it could be like in your like baby making playlist. That was like my main kind of goal with this song, not gonna lie. But yeah, if you can't tell already, I love solos. Like I love adding solos. Like Take Me Back Alive has a guitar solo. Stalking My Brain Will See has a solo. All has a guitar solo. I love solos. They're all over this record. But yeah, lyrically, I knew I wanted to still be in the vein of Take Me Back Alive. So the characters kind of going deeper into their regret, deeper into their feelings, really kind of painting over it now. And I really, really love this song. Like, it's very groovy, and it was so fun to produce. Like, getting that snare that, like, has a delay on it. Like, you know, the snare that goes... Like, it was so fun to make. Like, it was so satisfying to the ear, you know what I mean? And it was satisfying to write. Like, the syncopation was great. Like, the thinking up a thought that doesn't, like, the change your wants. Like, it was just very fun to make this song. Very spacious, very, very, like, wide. I wanted to make a really wide sounding atmospheric song. I guess, yeah, instrumentally catchy is kind of in there. R&B music, man, just After the Party was really in there. And yeah, just my love for, like, that lo-fi space inspired the song. So yeah, it has a little switch up in the middle where it kind of goes into this major key thing for a while, and it has this, like, drum pattern that I love to, like, beatbox in my own time. It's like, it's like something like that. It's not exactly like that. I hope you guys heard it, but I'd always beatbox that for fun, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna put it into this song randomly. So yeah, that's in here. A lot of elements of the song I love. I really try to flex my vocal performance on here. And good guitar solo. But then yeah, this song kind of gets very weird. Like, I would not be surprised if a lot of people just turn it off after, like, 4 or 5 minutes in, because that's when, like, the original R&B song ends. Because the story's picking up now at this point, so it changes into this like piano solo. It's I was debating, like, stripping that out of the song and making it like a interlude type song, but I was like, I really didn't want, like, a 2-minute little moment on the record. I just decided to put it into this song and make it like 7-minute song. But yeah, this is where things get real. The character at this point is, like, very overcome with guilt, and he's decided, like, I'm gonna move to wherever you are. I'll leave all of my things, my livelihood, my job, whatever, friends here. I'm just gonna come and see you. But right as he's making that decision, that choice, she flatlines and she passes away, overdoses. So yeah, again, this is another moment on the album similar to Going Away, where I just had complete freedom control. Like, there's nobody that can, like, stop me and be like, what the hell are you making? Like, what is this? Like, just cut the song off at 5 minutes. There's no one here to tell me that, because I'm not under a label. I'm not under any, like, jurisdiction. Like, I can make whatever I want. This song is literally just this album, I'd say, is just an exploration of my free will. That I can do whatever I want. But yeah, so it cuts off to the flat line. And I wanted to just make something that, like, got under your skin, like, made you uncomfortable, and it kind of made you wish that it stopped. Like, it kind of made you want to, like, pause it or turn it off. That's kind of what I wanted the last seconds, like, the final moments of the song to sound like. Inspired by, like, Hereditary, which is one of my favorite movies. This is where, like, the horror of the album really shines through. Like, the horror in this album is very real life horror. Like, it's not anything supernatural, like with ghosts or, like, something like that. Like, it's very, like you hear, like, a woman crying at the end of this, which is supposed to be, like, the mom of the girl. And you can hear an ambulance, you can hear a phone ringing, which is not getting picked up, which is our main character calling. It's just very it's like very dark. um, the thing that inspired that is last summer, not this summer, so like the 2024 summer, which is when I originally planned to finish this record, but so much happened that summer. I went through, my family, I should say, went through, like, we lost a family member. It was a big loss for all of us, and I'm never going to forget that night where it all kind of went down. In my mind, like, without getting into too much detail, the final moments of all is kind of what that night sounded like to me. Just is filled with panic and like the feeling of your heart like just sinking down to your stomach. You know, that night kind of, I guess, like, not, maybe traumatized is too big of a word, but it definitely messed me up for a while. So I wanted to, I guess, if there was a way to express it with sound, I always wanted to incorporate the shepherd's tone in a song. The shepherd's tone is like this audio illusion where it sounds like there's a song, like the sound is like getting lower and lower and lower forever. And a really popular, one of my favorite uses of a shepherd's tone is in the Nolan Batman series, the Dark Knight trilogy. The Bat Pod that Batman rides has the shepherd's tone in it. Like, his bike makes the shepherd's tone noise. It's like always increasing. It's pretty cool. Anyways, yeah, all was that's where the inspiration for all came from. And like the ending, middle, this song has like 3 parts in it, but yeah, this is kind of where this album takes a very dark switch and turn, for sure. So after that, we have Stalking My Brain, which is a very polarizing shift, I'm not gonna lie. It goes into this very happy, bright choir. But yeah, this is actually a song. Stalking My Brain is a song that I've been trying to make for like ages. Like, I've probably made this song like 4 or 5 times. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, like 4 or 5. There's been 4 or 5 different like attempts at making this song. They all sound like wildly different from each other, but not to me. Like, the idea of the song, I've tried to replicate it a lot of times, but I only did it so many times because I felt like I never got it right. Until now, like, I feel like Stalking My Brain was the first time I kind of nailed it, in my opinion. But yeah, this is an ode to, again, my favorite kind of pop music. You know, like, I was listening to a lot of Jessie J, Domino, a lot of If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know, 1975, a lot of Sweet Talk by Samantha Jade. You know, like, that kind of really, you know, shimmery, glittery, sparkly, happy, upbeat pop music. I love those kinds of songs, man. It's probably one of my favorite genres of music, to be honest. Maybe my favorite. But yeah, I wanted to make a song in that vein. It has a lot of horn sections, and it even has a little trumpet / sax solo. This is kind of very borrowed from If You're Too Shy by the 1975, for sure. But again, this song has that idea, like the Sad to Breathe idea, where the beginning sounds wildly different than like the chorus. Because I really wanted to make these songs interesting in their identity. Like, I didn't want it to sound the same all the way through. So yeah, it starts off with like this choir and this organ and all these kinds of things. Originally, the intro of the song was supposed to be like an obituary, I guess, of the girl, like somebody reading it out, or like the equivalent of like a news channel kind of telling you what happened. Like, it's not really me. Like, it's not really the main character singing that first part. I just want to say that. I originally wanted somebody else to sing it, but I couldn't get anyone else to sing it. So it just had to be my voice. But yeah, it's supposed to be somebody like kind of informing what happened. I feel like it does make the story a bit too obvious, but it's whatever. I like it, to be honest. But yeah, my mom actually really loves this song. It's like her favorite song on the album, actually. It's very exciting, very catchy pop song. A lot of fun elements. It has a little solo, some arpeggios, which those arpeggios are directly borrowed from like I'm in Love with You by Weather 1975. You'll hear that name so much when I'm describing any of my music. Like if there's one central influence on all my music, it's the 1975 for sure. They're like my all-time favorite artist. But yeah. This song is just a love message to those songs, to be honest. And again, narratively, lyrically over here, we're lyrically, man, I haven't really been talking about the lyrics, have I? Did I talk about the lyrics for All? Yeah, All again is just, if just to go back for a sec, is just in the same themes of Take Me Back Alive, to be honest. Just asking for another chance, thinking of the past. But Stalking My Brain is, I've always loved the idea of like a very happy, upbeat pop song and then very dark, sad lyrics. Like that juxtaposition has always been one of my favorite things to play with. Like, it just makes it a bit conflicting, a bit confusing, and it adds personality. Like, the things I'm saying in the chorus are dark as hell for this song. It's like, took your heart, broke it up, and now you're winding up dead. Missed your call, left a message with the pills on the bed. Like, it's like, what the hell? And then the song is like this bright, summery pop song. So, yeah, I really love this song. It's a song that I'm so happy I finally was able to get right, you know? It's a song that I've been trying to make for a long time, and yeah, I'm happy that it's finally has its space to exist. Not much to say about it. It's just a good old little pop track. Next up, we have Criminal. Man, I really hope I'm not forgetting anything about these songs that I want to say, but yeah, hopefully not. Anyways, Criminal was, I guess the very obvious influence I should get out of the way is Knots by Quad Deca. Obviously, Knots is like I said, Haunt You is all over this record, even in like the themes. But yeah, this is like my love message to that song, basically. Like, I love that song. I'm never gonna forget my first time hearing Knots. Like, the reaction that I had, I was like, what the, like, how can somebody even make this? You know, like not only was my production brain going crazy, like, how does one even like make all these sounds? But also like my emotional like brain, I was like, dude, I feel so weird right now, but this is so hype. You know, so I always, not always, but I really liked that song. So I wanted to make something that was like an ode to that. And Criminal is that, you know. This song is also like an ode to my favorite video game, my favorite video game, which is Five Nights at Freddy's. I guess it's not my favorite video game, but it's definitely my favorite like lore that any game has had. Like, I grew up with FNAF lore and Smike. You guys, for people that are into FNAF lore, probably don't even know who Smike is, but I've been around since Smike, dude. And MatPat and watching Mark play those games, and I even went to see the movie in theaters and I caught every reference. That movie got horrible reviews, but I loved the shit out of it. It was amazing. I can't wait to see the second one, but yeah, like, I love referencing video games. I love referencing FNAF. So, FNAF has this analog horror series. It's not by it's not by Scott Cawthon, but very talented artists on YouTube. I'm pretty sure the guy turned out to be like a pedophile, which sucks. But he did make some pretty remarkable analog horror for the series. And there's a part when I was watching that series, there was a section. I think I posted it on my Instagram story. It's probably available in my highlights for this album, but they're basically showing a character, William Afton, and the word criminal is being said over and over again with a lot of delay. There's something about that creeped me out. Like it creeped me out a lot. Like the repetition of the word criminal, I was like, gosh, that is it. Like I'm making that a song. I'm stealing that. So that's where the song comes from, to be honest. Production wise, it's a very grimy kind of, not overproduced, but there's a lot of shit going on. Very distorted, very yeah, it was a very fun song to produce again. It's hard to talk about the production without like the session open in front of me, but from what I can remember, I was just trying to make something that was kind of in the same formula as Knots. Very hype. I think Heartless by The Weeknd also inspired the song. I always loved the energy of that song. And the 808 kind of was like just, yeah, that song for some reason was also an influence. But yeah, lyrically, this is the darkest it gets on the record, I would say. Like, there's a lot of trigger warning-esque lyrics on this that are kind of just weird. This song, on a personal level, doesn't really mean all that much to me. I'm not gonna lie, it's just a banger, in my opinion. Like, it just gets me really hype, and maybe it does mean something to me personally, but it's just very dark, and I think narratively it fits in really good, and it's just kind of messed up. And at the end, it kind of transitions into this piano, like this electric piano that kind of rides out. And I actually sampled Three Idiots, which is one of my favorite movies ever made. It's this Hindi film that I recommend everyone watches, to be honest, even if you don't like watch Bollywood or understand Hindi, like turn on some subtitles and watch that shit, because it's one of the best movies ever. But there's a scene, or there's like a dialogue in that movie. I don't really want to spoil the movie, but yeah, I sampled a scene from that movie that kind of talks about, without trying to like get into it too much, like if you stress someone out to like the max and then they like commit like suicide, like they decide like the only way to get out of the stress is to like actually escape life, then like is it really suicide or is it actually just murder at that point? You know, like in the story of this album, yes, the girl, like the girlfriend in this story, she might have committed suicide, yes, but was it suicide or was it murder? Because it was completely the character's fault. You know, it was completely the boyfriend's fault that she did it. Because he cheated, he was unloyal, and he just drifted apart, and he just became this kind of toxic person. So that's like why the song is called Criminal, because there's like a section in that song where he's having these schizophrenic-esque like voices in his head telling him like, if you just picked up the phone, things would be different, like why would you do this and that, blah blah blah. And it's, again, like I said, it's repeating criminal. Like the voices in his head are telling him that he's a criminal, like he's basically a murderer, you know. That's kind of the idea of this song. Very very dark indeed, but that is what this album is all about, making you uncomfortable. But yeah, after this, the album goes into like my favorite, I'd say my favorite leg, like the last kind of leg of the record. So yeah. Oh wow, we're already like an hour and 10 minutes in. It's crazy. But yeah. Next up we have Solace in Memories. So apart from Catalyst, I knew I wanted an instrumental ambient piece on this album. I always try to have an ambient piece of music because I love ambient music, man. Like, I might not listen to it that much on the daily, but I just love the purpose it kind of serves in records, and they're so important sometimes, you know. So yeah, Solace and Memories absolutely needed to be on this. And this demo, like this project file of Solace, it was just titled Solace. It had been on my like PC for like ages. I don't even remember when I made that demo, probably around pages, even maybe like during Longing for Unfamiliarity. Like this has been around for a while, but it was, that demo only had the guitar and it had like the pad where there's like this like dark underlying pad that goes with the guitar. It only had like two sounds, and I was like, I liked how it kind of made me feel a bit weird. Like it did make me feel like there's solace, but I also wanted to like paint it with a bunch of other sounds that were constantly trying to combat the solace. Like, okay, so the best way to describe the song in my brain is like, the title of the song, it would make more sense if it was titled Trying to Find Solace in Memories. It's called Solace in Memories, but what it's actually like meaning to do is it's trying to find solace. Like you're trying to find solace in the memories, because the song is pretty like gut-wrenching. Like it sounds very like uncomfortable. It sounds like, it just sounds like it's drowning almost. And it doesn't sound like solace or comfort at all, you know? But it does sound like it's like trying to find comfort in that idea. But yeah. Sorry, I just got a text message, threw me off, gosh. Yeah, so Solace. Yeah, so that's kind of like the instrumental idea that I had for it. The things that inspired this song, it's a lot of weird stuff that inspired it. I was watching Squid Game Season 2 at the time, and something about the intro of this song, it reminds me of that show. I don't know why, but it just sounds like the dread that I felt watching that show is exactly what the intro kind of sounds to me like. And Lost My Head by the 19th, or not Lost My Head. Is it Lost My Head? Yes, Lost My Head by the 1975 and Please Be Naked by the 1975. Like the intros of both of those songs, I love them so much, and I wanted to combine them, which is the intro and outro to Solace and Memories. Like the intro and the outro play twice in Solace and Memories, as kind of like to kind of make the song more coherent. And that idea I got directly from Lost My Head and Please Be Naked. Both of those songs do that. So yeah, that idea came from those songs. And the pulsing, that was just me, yeah. That's not inspired by anything. But there's like a section in the song where it kind of slows down and sorry, and like the flute comes in. That part of the song was inspired by Quebec had a song called, what was it called? It's like a very long title. You Tried That Thing Where You're Human. It was off of Scrapyard. The outro to that song, ugh, one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard, man. The outro to that song. I tried to make that, like, that section inspired that section in my head, yeah. I played with that flute and a lot of interesting textures on there. Yeah, this song is just very sad sounding, and it's very dark, and it's very, like, once you listen to it in the context of the album, it just sounds like, gosh, what could you possibly be thinking, you know? Like, when the only note I had under the song when I was creating the record was, where do I go to feel okay? Like, that's the only caption this song can have, and it's one of my favorite songs on the record, and it's just a little moment where, yeah, it's kind of transitioning us into the final arc of the record, and a lot of contemplations the character is going through at this point, and it's just horrible. It's very sad. It gets very sad to talk about this record when you get to this point, for sure. But yeah, a lot of things inspired this song, for sure. Oh, thank God I remembered this. This is a very obscure thing that inspired the song as well. If you can't tell already, there's a lot of weird, obscure things that inspire me, man, but that's just what it's all about. So, basically, Lemino is a YouTuber. He made this amazing video essay on Cicada 3301. And Cicada 3301 was basically this organization group that, like, hosted a bunch of, like, puzzles across, like, I think 4chan, or was it, like, Reddit? I don't remember. They hosted, like, these bunch of puzzles for, like, intelligent people to crack, and people that finished the puzzle would basically be recruited into their, like, intelligence agency or whatever, and then they just disappear, you know? It was, like, a very cool video. I really recommend everyone goes watches it. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite videos ever made. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, Cicada 3301, like the organization or whatever, they actually made music, which is really weird. But they made music, and they had this song that they made called Interconnectedness. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Interconnectedness by Cicada 3301. I think it's available on, like, YouTube and stuff. If you guys go listen to it, that is what inspired this song, Solace and Memories. Like, the guitar especially. Like, the guitar, the beginning kind of strums, or not beginning strums, like the beginning notes. That sounds like solace to me, like the word. And that's also what the guitar in my song sounds like. Like, it's like that similar idea. So that Cicada 3301 song also inspired Solace and Memories. I know, yes, this is getting kind of weird, but, and probably kind of hard to follow along, but yes, that also inspired this song. But yeah, I love this song. It's a really good ambient piece of music that I'm very proud of. And I might do like sessions on this song because I love the production of this song. All right, we're nearing the end of the record. Next we have Onism. Onism is, this is probably my favorite song that I've ever made. And it's probably my favorite song on the record, to be honest. I'm super proud of this song. This song took me like 2 years to make. And it's actually the first thing I showed you guys off of this album. If you guys go to the highlights on my Instagram for this record, there's like this video that I posted of these like lights and a song playing in the background. That was like the original demo for the build-up of the eventual end of this song. But yeah, onism is a word that comes from this philosopher. I forget his name, but it's from this book that he wrote called like Obscure Sorrows, I think. And one of the words was onism, and what onism basically means is it's like the awareness of how little of the world you'll experience. Something along those lines. Actually, I want to read it for you guys. I want to read a more formal definition of the song. Onism meaning. Yeah, the frustration or sadness of being limited to a single body and life, preventing you from experiencing the vastness of the world and all of its potential destinations, experiences, and lives. The awareness of how little of the world you'll experience. Yeah, like, it's that idea. I always loved this word, and if you guys notice throughout my albums, I always love to use these, like, obscure sorrow words. You know, I think I used acatalepsy on longing. I used a state of kalopsha for pages. Did I use one for the end? I'm not sure that I did. I'm kind of curious. I want to check. Sorry, guys. Little tangent that we're going on here. Let me open this album. No, I don't use any of those. But anyways, yeah, onism, I love that idea. And I always wanted to make a song called Onism, even before I knew the story of this album. But once, like I said, the story kind of started writing itself, I immediately knew what purpose this word and what the song would serve. You know, it's a very sad song, you know, but it's such a beautifully sad. One of my favorite songs is Fantasy World by Quadeca, which is an obvious inspiration for this song. BTS, Spring Day, is a very big inspiration for the song. There was actually a demo for Spring Day. Spring Day, by the way, is like one of the best songs ever created. Like, please, like, that song is so emotional. It's like the perfect autumn song. I try not to even listen to it that much, only in autumn. You know, it only feels right then. But the feeling of like being far from somebody you love, that song kind of makes you feel, you know, like, it does like such a good job. It's amazing. I love that song, and I wanted to make a song that was an ode to that for sure. I think the lead synth in this song that comes during the chorus is directly stripped from Spring Day. And oh my god, I forgot what I was gonna say. There was a demo of Spring Day where it wasn't the original chorus. It was like another version of the chorus that one of the members wrote, and I really liked that melody, but it wasn't the final melody they used. So I actually took that melody and made it a portion of the main melody for onism. And the part that I'm talking about is the do 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 do, like that part. So yeah, I squeezed that in somehow as well. That song was one of like the biggest kind of inspiration, I guess, for it. And Laney, 'Cause You Have To, off of Beautiful Blur. What a song. There's a guitar solo in that song that builds and builds and builds. Oh, it's one of the most beautiful things you can like listen to. But the feeling that song gave me, I wanted to replicate something like that. I wanted to replicate a song that made me feel like that portion of that song, you know. And that's actually the catalyst of onism. That's actually what began this song. Like where I started this song was the last build up. When the synths come in, like the and the big orchestral drums and everything, and the big drop and everything, you know, it was inspired by that Laney song. So yeah, there's a bunch of ideas. This song is like 7 minutes long, so obviously there'd be a bunch of inspirations for it. But yeah, so many inspirations, man. A lot of things came together to make this song. A lot of things. And at the very end, there's this piano that plays. There's like a piano that plays this little portion, which is. I got that from Always by Keshi, live version. I'm making sure to mention everything so that people don't think I'm copying. I just love to borrow. Always, there's a live version that he made. So beautiful, and like it's a different song than the original for sure. It just exudes a different feeling and emotion, and I always found that section so beautiful that I completely took those chords and I just wanted to put that at the end of this song. For some reason it just felt right. I don't know. I just put that at the end. And it's kind of like ties in a little bit, because the meaning of Always, like the Keshi song, is like, I thought we'd restart like we always do, or something like that. And the sad part in this case is that he can't restart. You know, it's over. So, you know, it's like a sad kind of double meaning there. But yeah, that is also a sonic inspiration. Lyrically, this song is one of my favorite written songs. This is probably my favorite lyrics I've made. It's just so it's so sad, and it's kind of urging the listener to take action, you know, to live their life and experience all that they could experience while they're alive. You know, another song that inspired this song was Just to Die by Keshi. You know, like the feeling of that song, like it's like a call to action. You know, it's kind of urging the listener, urging anyone. This character is trying to tell us that, like, please live your life as much as you can, because taking the life away from yourself is never the answer. You know, self-harm is never the answer. And it's a song that I needed to make. It's a very important song to me, because there was a lot of things happening in my life. It wasn't me in per se going through these kinds of thoughts and emotions. I have gone through dark thoughts like that, but it was more of like people that I love and that are close to me in my life were kind of going through things like that, and I just needed to make this song as like a healing, you know, because the first portion of the song is not really related to the story. Like, he's not really talking to the girl. He's just talking to, like, he's just saying stuff in general, you know, like, please live your life, please do all you can do while you're alive. And then at the end it goes into, I miss you so much, it's getting hard to live without you, I miss you so much, I miss you so much. I love this song, man. I could make a whole recording of just how much I like this song. It's one of my best produced. I produced the hell out of this song, man. It has so many layers, and I'm just really proud of it. Even my vocal performance, I'm happy with it. It's just it ties everything together, man. It ties everything together for me. Actually, the song that ties everything together is the last song. But yeah, this song it's a very big moment. A lot of things inspired it and brought it together. It's Maddie from the 1975 says the best, like, we create in the way we consume, which is like the best way for me to describe my music. Like this entire album is just an amalgamation of shit that I like, you know, which is again why it's called Everything All Together. But again, narratively, that means something else. But yeah, at this point, the listener is just, or not the listener, the character, narratively is, he's at a low, he's going through grief, and he feels her absence deeply, misses her a lot. Which then would transition us into the final song on this album, which is Together, the completion of this 3-part arc, you know. Together is another moment on this record where it was me abusing my free will, I'm not gonna lie. Really just did whatever I wanted to do. But yeah, this song is this was the only song besides Catalyst that was produced almost entirely on my laptop. This song took 2 sessions because the very last spoken word portion of the song was during like another session on my computer. But the whole like original like kind of song was made on my laptop. But yeah, this song was inspired by a lot of things. I originally heard that electric piano loop a while ago, and I always knew like these keys would be the final song on the album, because it just had this sense of finality. Like it really just felt like you'd hear that at the ending of something. So I already knew I wanted to make a song, like the last song of my next album would be that. I just knew. But yeah, with this song, the same way that I completely stripped out moments from It's Not Living for Take Me Back Alive or other things. There's a couple other times I did that. I did that here as well with Fractions of Infinity by Quedeca, Obviously Haunt You, Big Inspo. There's like the bells of that song, the down 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 down. I completely took that, put it in here, and yeah, I love the song. It just feels very live. I love the live drums on this, and I love how airy it feels. This song, I was thinking about closing tracks. I was thinking about final songs. I was thinking about all the songs that I'd made for this album thus far, because this was the last song I made. This was the final song I made for the record. And I was thinking about everything. I was thinking about like the intro song, everything. And I was thinking about the story thus far. And I really did struggle with how I wanted to wrap up the story. Like, I really didn't know if I wanted him to live, if I wanted him to die, if I wanted him to go through something in between. Like, I knew that he needed to get his something needed to happen to him that he deserved, because he's a horrible person, you know. So it was very kind of, took me a while to like figure out how I wanted to end this record. And I know it might be disappointing for some, because I'm not sure if as a listener you're able to get convinced or able to like forgive him. I don't think he's able to be forgiven, to be honest. Like, I still think he did some horrible things. So I knew that there wasn't a happy ending to this story. Like, I knew no matter what happens, like, the story doesn't end well. Like, it's a tragedy, and it needs to end in like a tragedy. Like, I always knew that. But yeah, sonically, I was talking about sonically, what did I say? Fractions of Infinity's in here. Yeah, I was listening to final songs, like how final songs should be, and I was listening to Balloonerism by Mac Miller. Amazing posthumous album. The final record of that song, oh my gosh. One of the most eerie experiences of my life. It was so, like, scary, kind of. You know, and the constant phone ringing, you know, the phone ringing in that song and the playground and all, like, the atmosphere of that song inspired the piano spoken word section of this song, for sure. And I forgot to mention the phone ringing effect. Your phone's ringing. Sorry, I just needed to say that. The phone ringing effect in that Mac Miller track is also... I also use that in All when there's a phone ringing in that song. Just wanted to mention that. But yeah, that Mac Miller song inspired, like, the spoken word portion of the song. And Inside Out by Keshi. Love that song. It's that song was a really big inspiration. The guitar solo on this song was completely borrowed from that. And even the melody of that song. The melody goes something like, what can I do? What can I say? I never knew that I could feel this way. And then for mine it's like, for us to be together, for us to be together. You know, it's like really similar. And the guitar solo, like, I completely took the final kind of guitar solo of Inside Out, try to replicate it here, to be honest. See, I'm not that creative. I'm really not that creative at all. I just take things and morph them into my own. But anyways, that was a big inspiration here. And also the very end of this album, the very end, the second spoken passage where our character is put into this little between place or a coma or whatever you want to assume when he's speaking, and there's a hospital sound, like the beeping sound. The song, the thing that inspired that portion was Ethel Cain, actually. Pervert's EP, one of the most haunting things I've ever heard in my life. I think it's the opening track on that song. The title track, Perverts, yeah. Gosh, it was one of the most haunting experiences of my life sonically. And it was my first kind of intro to, like, drone music. Like drones and stuff. I didn't really pull off any sort of drones here. But that inspired it somehow. like the fucked up vocals and the very loud room tone, you know, was completely inspired by Ethel Cain for sure, which is like the very end of this album. But yeah, lyrically, it's a very personal song to me, to be honest. I was going through a lot of rough things, man. My relationship was in a pretty contentious spot at this point, and yeah, this song means a lot to me, and it's still kind of, it's really full circle for me, because the first song I made for this record was Going Away Fluent in Many, which was about me moving out for the first time in my life and how scary that was. And Together is about, again, me moving out for third year. Like, it's my third year now. You know, it's been so long. And that feeling of, like, leaving my family and my cat, it still doesn't go away. You know, it's like a full circle thing, and it feels very tied in. Like, it feels very earned, every emotion here. You know, I'll pet all your fur when I'm back at home. Sorry, excuse me, that's a line from my cat. But yeah. I always knew the character would have their own kind of trigger warning, suicide attempt here in this song. But yeah, and it took me a minute to craft, like, how I wanted him to go. And him stepping in front of traffic just felt like the most apocalyptic, I guess, is if that's the right word. Like, it just felt like, gosh, everything's ending. Everything's cooked. But yeah, what else? Yes, the choir. Now, this is something that's controversial. This is something that may get me canceled, might get me blacklisted from being a good artist, an essential artist, or like an artist that's true to music. I'm not gonna lie. Like, a lot of people will not like me for this. But I need to explain myself, okay? Look, I'm a college student, right? I'm in university. Money is tight, okay? And I'm not popular at all. Like, I make music purely for myself. So, obviously, like, I don't have the money to, like, get a feature or, like, get a choir, for example. But in this song, I knew I needed a choir to sing that section where I'm going, like, you're not one to go, 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 you know? Like, I knew I wanted a choir. So, but I didn't have the money to, like, hire a choir. So I actually used AI. I know, please don't cancel me. But I think it's important to mention that I'd never use AI for, like, my own vocals. I think that's disgusting. Like, I sang everything on this album myself. Like, everything I sang by myself. And all the production on this album, zero AI. That was all really produced by me. But I used AI for the choir in the sense of, like, I recorded a bunch of harmonies in my voice and I put it through this website that allow you to, like, convert it to other people's voice. So, like, I took a bunch of, like, female voices, guy voices, deep voices, people of different ethnicities, everything, and just layered it a bunch of times to kind of create this choir effect. It doesn't sound like that much like a choir, but it does sound, like, very grand, which was my point, you know? I'm sorry for my cough, but yeah. So I used AI in that portion of the song. So I'm sorry if that upsets anyone. I know that could be kind of seen as a weak move, but I think it's pretty valid because, you know, I'm on a budget here, first of all, and second of all, it was for something to, like, enhance, to, like, add an effect more than to, like, shorten my job, I guess. Because I could have just added my voice a bunch of times, but I wanted different, like, I wanted flavor, I wanted some color in there, so, yeah. I don't recommend anybody do that. Like, if you have money, just actually get a choir. But, you know, I couldn't just get the Sunday service choir, so. But yeah, I wanted to be fully authentic and say everything that I did here. I don't know if I should have revealed that, I don't know if I shouldn't have, but I just want to put all my thoughts out there. And I also want to talk about the note, for us to be together again. That was inspired by Serendipity by BTS. I've referenced BTS 2 times. Yes, I like BTS. Okay? I like their more conceptual work. Like, they're actually pretty good at music. Like, they have really good music. Unironically, they do. Like, I didn't have the biggest K-pop phase, but I definitely had one. And I like all eras or types of music, all languages, but there's a lot of interesting elements of K-pop for sure. But Serendipity, like, yeah, K-pop, I just want to talk about it for a sec, because there's a lot of things on this album that are K-pop-ish. Like, Criminal, for example, is kind of inspired by a lot of the noise music from K-pop that I've heard. Like, the more aggressive sounds, like the more aggressive songs that you could hear in, like, a K-pop song. Yeah, like, it's kind of sprinkled throughout, like, sonically here and there. And in Onism with Spring Day, like I said. But yeah, Serendipity, there's this note that Jimin hits, where I always like the idea, like, he hits this note in the bridge of Serendipity where the instrumental completely cuts out and it's just his vocal. And I really love the idea of like letting the vocal shine and like letting the music go, because it really like, first of all, like the lyric, it really like enhanced the lyric, like let you focus on the lyric, like what they're saying. Because if you cut out the music, like they must be saying something damn important, you know. So I really like that idea, and I knew that when I belt and yell together, I wanted to cut out the music. And it's actually the first time that I say the title of the song in together. And I wanted like the first time that I say the word together, I wanted the music to be cut out. And it just, so that it hits you in the balls, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it was just this big emotional moment on the album or on the song. And yeah, and then it goes into that guitar solo. And yeah, like the end is him in this purgatory like state, this weird place where he's in between. He can hear people trying to talk to him, presumably his loved ones in the hospital or the doctors, you know, or maybe even the angels, who knows. But he's not dead. That's all I do want to reiterate at the end of this record. Like, he doesn't flatline. Like, yeah, like I don't fade out the beeps, but if he was dead, I would have put the flatline sound, you know. So he's definitely not dead, but there's no, like, does he like come back? Does he ever exit out of that state? Does he like, end up dying? Does he survive? All of that is unanswered. I just left him stuck in this little in-between area. I thought it was like a perfect punishment for the main character, because like what he did was pretty fucked up, you know what I mean? And I was like, what is the worst that he can get? Like, what's the worst that can happen to him? Like, yeah, he has a suicide attempt in hopes of meeting her again. But like, it's not that easy. Like, things aren't always gonna go your way, you know? It's not always gonna go his way. That like, oh, if he just does this, he's not only gonna commit like such a selfish act to his family, but he's also gonna just meet her. Like, no, things don't always work out like that. And it also would have derailed the importance that onism had. Like, I felt like onism honestly could have been the last song on this album, but it was a bit like, dude, if he just sung about like live your life and then the next song he dies of suicide, it would be a bit like, it killed the purpose of onism a bit. So I didn't want to kill him off, but I did want him to like go through with his decision, like the character, and then for him to survive anyway, you know. I thought that was a very fitting end for his character. But yeah, that is all of the songs gone through. Wow, we did it. I did it. I made it through all of them. I'm pretty sure that's all the thoughts that I had on every song. I think I mentioned everything. I guess just as like a conclusion, I loved working on this record, even though it took me like 2 years. That's mainly due to the reason that like I moved out and it was harder to work on the record, because this record was literally in 3 different places, you know. So it's hard to reach sometimes and hard to like write, because to be honest, I've had a pretty happy 2 years, guys. Don't want you guys to think I'm depressed or anything. Like, I've had a really happy 2 years, and to the point that it was kind of hard to write this album, because I wasn't that sad. Like, I needed to be really sad to work on this record a lot of the time, or else like it just wouldn't come out authentic. But I just wasn't that sad, and like this project was kind of left to the side for a bit because of that reason. But I finally came around to finishing it, and that does mean, yes, like during that time, it's not like I stopped making music because I was happy. I actually made a lot of happy songs for like my, for my love. I love her so much. But yeah, for her and stuff. So there's a lot of happy music that exists during the time I made this album, which I'm actually thinking about dropping pretty soon because there are a lot of good songs that I've made that aren't a part of this album, but I made them during the making of this album. And they're just a bunch of happy, cute love songs, and I definitely want to put that out. Not as like an album, but maybe as like this, as like a mixtape or a playlist or something like that. So yeah, stay tuned for that. It's definitely gonna come out soon. I want to do this for my other albums as well, because there's so many things I want to talk about for each of them. But yeah, I definitely wanted to do it for this record because this record means a lot to me. I'm so incredibly proud of it. Like, I've never been more proud of something in my life, And I'm happy with how it came out. I'm very happy with how it came out. There's endless ideas. There's so many things that went into this. A lot of thought processes, a lot of inspirations, ideas. Just so much was poured into this album, man. And I'm happy that it's done, that it's that it exists, and I'm happy that I, as like a artist, was able to make something like this in my lifetime. Like, I'll always be proud of that fact. That I was, even if I don't do music forever, at like some point in my life, I was so into it that I made this record. I really enjoyed doing this concept album. Even though it wasn't the most related to my real life at times, but the songs all kind of do mean something to me in their own individualistic ways, And with that said, like, from here on out, I want to make another concept album. Like, my next album is gonna be another concept record, because I am happy with how the concept came out this time around, but the way I did some of the storytelling on everything all together is it's not like I don't like it, but I definitely want to explore different ways of telling it, So yeah, I'm already working on my next album. I'm already working on it. I already know what it's gonna be. I already know what it's gonna be about, and I'm pretty excited for it. But I'm gonna really take my time. Like, it's not. Please don't expect it anytime soon. Like, that shit is way in the future. But I know what it is for sure, and I'm working on it, and I'm excited for what's next, man. But for now, I just want to drop some fun music, some happy music after this. So, some love songs is what I'm thinking. It's gonna come after this. But yeah, this record, everything all together, it's the best thing I've ever made in my life. It has the best songs I've made, the best lyrics, the best production. I just love that the record feels so free of any bounds. Like, it just becomes whatever it wants at any moment. And that's what I love about it, It's everything all together, literally. But it's yeah, it means a lot to me. I hope, if anyone, probably no one's probably ever gonna listen to this 2-hour mumbo jumbo of things. This was more purely selfishly for myself, just to document my thoughts on it, just to kind of put it out there as like a journal once and for all, because I don't like journaling with my like writing with my fingers. That can get tiring. So I just thought I'd just turn on the voice recorder and do this on my iPhone. See, I'm actually not even at my home right now. I'm like in third year, so I'm in my house that I'm leasing for the school year. So I don't have my professional mic or anything like that, or my music studio. So that's why I'm recording this on my iPhone. But yeah, it's like 5 a.m. It's almost 6 a.m. now, gosh. But yeah, I just wanted to do this. If somebody did somehow listen, like, do this whole thing and made it to this point, I love you. Love you so much. You're awesome. I hope you enjoyed the album. I hope you're enjoying it. It's all the things I love about music are in this album. and it's yeah, I'm happy with the final product, and I'm happy that it exists, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thanks for listening, man. And I'll see ya. Later, guys.